Hello, my butterfly beauties, and welcome if you are new. My name is Charlene, and on this channel, we discuss everything beauty, fragrance, and lifestyle. So if you like my style, why don't you subscribe and you stay a while? In today's video, we are changing out our weekly tray for our Shop My Stash, Get Ready With Me for the week. So I put together this look. So you'll get to see me put together this look. You'll see me shop my stash. Before we do that, let me briefly go over everything that I was wearing throughout the week. So if you would like to see all those thoughts, me put together this look, me review my last week's items, makeup picks, and see what items I picked out for this week, then just stay tuned. All right, so first things first, let's go over some of the looks I put together for this past week. I did a couple of the shorts of days where I was wearing the other different items, as well as did a look together last week of the items I pulled from Shop My Stash. So what did I use? What did I not use? So the palettes I pulled was my Tom Ford Bad A palette in number 01, I believe is this one. It's a Tom Ford Extreme 01 and Bad A. So yes, I put together a look utilizing this one. It was on one of my shorts. So make sure you go and check that out if you haven't checked it out. And on my shorts, you guys, I don't put on the makeup. I just tell you what I put on. And I do break down where I placed my eyeshadows so you can get an idea. And as you go along and watch my videos from week to week, you'll see how I normally apply my makeup at least once a week. So anyways, so we did the Bad A palette. So I did utilize that. Love the look I came up with. Love that palette. Another one that we did was this Bridgerton. I pulled was this Bridgerton palette. This is her Diamond of the First Water. That's what it looks like. I think I used this in my palette during the video, but I also did another short using this palette. Love this palette. This blue shifty shade here is gorgeous. I actually had this on in one of my videos, and somebody commented on it how much they loved my makeup look. So this was the palette I was wearing in that video. But Diamond of the First Water, love that palette. And then the other palette I pulled last week was this Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Solar Bronze Temptation palette. So just to remind you of what that one looked like, it has that look here. And I did do, I think, 1 or 2 shorts utilizing this palette. So enjoyed that one as well. I pulled the Fenty Beauty Cashew powder. This is her Pro Filter powder. I love this powder. It works well for my shade. It has a little bit more of a drying effect to it, but I did enjoy it. The shade matches well with my skin complexion. The bronzer I pulled was from Rim Beauty, and this is in coconut, and that's what that looks like. This was another one. I enjoyed this. This is a darker bronzer for me. So to me, this is probably more so one that wear more in the fall, summer into fall type bronzer. But I still can make it work the rest of the year. This is the time where my complexion changes. I get a little lighter during the winter time. So some of these more deeper colors do better on me during those time periods, because this one has like a little reddish tinge to it. You can kind of tell by just me holding it up that it has like a little reddish tinge, and as you can tell, I have more of a neutral golden undertone. So these reds, the ones that lean more of a reddish brown on me, really appears darker on my skin complexion, but they do better on me during the summertime into fall time. All right, so then I used this NYX Buttermilk Blush. This is a gorgeous shade. These blushes have more of a sheen to them, as you can see. It has a little shimmer to it. So whenever you see that little sheen on there, so you really don't need a highlighter, but you can mix it up by all means. But I did enjoy this one. This is in Feeling Butter. So Feeling Butter is that shade. I enjoyed that one very much. I did also utilize my Peaches. This is a tried and true favorite, so this was not a new product to me. But this shade, this is like a corally color, does very well on my skin complexion, so enjoyed this one as well. And one of the ones that I tried for the first time was the Spice Latte from Danessa Myricks. I enjoyed this one as well. This is a beautiful color on me. So that one is a nice one. And then I did use this Rose and Brunch. I actually mixed this one with another one. And you'll see it in one of my shorts, like I said. But I did enjoy this one as well. These two are from Danessa Myricks. And then the Kosas one that I pulled, I did utilize this one in one of my shorts as well. This was a nice one. Enjoyed it. And Spellbound. I can't remember if I used Spellbound. I think I used Spellbound in my original look, but that's what that one looked like. So I enjoyed all my blushes. They all work well. The only other blushes I pulled that I did not use was this one. So I'm probably going to keep this on my tray, but this one, these are the ones that is that what Peach Twist and Sunbask or something like that shade. So I'm gonna keep that on the tray. And then this Laura Geller. So this Laura Geller trio here, that's that eye, lip, and cheek palette. I did utilize all the shades in here. It is on one of my shorts. So this is what that Laura Geller one looks like. As you could tell, I did utilize everything in here. And I did enjoy it. This is a little bit of a pinky type color. This blush was okay. It wasn't doing too much. So like I said, this is whenever I did that Rose and Brunch, I mixed it with this one. So the two mixed together did very well. And this was an okay highlighter. This isn't nothing to write home about. It wasn't, you know, all that fantastic. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy trying it. Would I keep it? I don't know if I would keep it. But I did give it a go. So, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to at least try it once. So, I may end up giving this to my mom because I think this will do very good on her skin complexion. But this Laura Geller eye, lip, and cheek palette, did give it a go. Enjoyed it. Just wasn't like amazing to me. But I think it may work well on her skin complexion. So the only other things that were not like staples, because I used my Milk Hydro Grip. I am about done with this, you guys. This one is staying. And I am keeping, I told you I was keeping my MAC Match Master because I'm like down here on here and I'm just trying to finish it up. And this one has like a drop left in here. So I need to get another mist in here on the tray. Lips wise, utilize this Huda Beauty Trendsetter. I did enjoy this quite a bit. I mixed it with my tried and true NYX Espresso. And then those Cheetah lipsticks. These two, they are okay. They're like not, you know, they're good. They're good, but I'm not going to go run out and get a bigger set of it. But I did utilize both of these. And they're okay. Like I said, they get the job done. The color is pretty, but the formula is not like something to write home about. I can get that in one of my other drugstore options or anything like that. I don't need to go and get, you know, need to go and buy one of those per se. So let's move along to me shopping my stash, and then we'll go on to the look that I created. So let me show you me pulling my items for this week's tray. All right, you guys, it's time to change out our weekly tray. I went ahead and pulled some of my lipsticks. I'm in the process of going through all my lipsticks and seeing what I need to get rid of. But anyways, I decided to pull these ones to try out for this week, some of my bolder colors. And then I went ahead and pulled this Hourglass highlighter palette. So we have those. And I'm going to stick with my same foundation because I'm trying to finish that one up, as well as my primer, so I don't need anything out of this one. And let's see what's in here that we want to use. I think I want to get a different bronzer this time. So let's try this one from Clarity Cosmetics. This is the one in 100 degrees. So we're going to get that one. And let's get a different powder. Do we want to get this Becca one? Let's get this Becca powder here. This is in Golden Hour. So we're going to get that. So let's see what blushes we want to take. Let's grab this MAC Mocha, and let's take this Buttermilk blush here. All right, and we'll do this Natasha Denona Bloom one here. All right, palettes. I know I wanted to use this one. Let's see here. I wanted to take my cranberry palette, so take this, and then let's do the Zendo palette. All right, so these are the items we're pulling. We'll go back over and get ready. All right, you guys, so like I said, we kept some of my staples. So my knits, you know, espresso, my Sephora Eye Coat pencil, my Precisely My Brow, my 2 mascaras that I'm using. This is almost done. So if I run out of this before the week is over, I will be pulling some other mascaras. But for right now, we're going to keep with that. My Marc Jacobs Undercover Eye Primer. Those are all staying. And I already told you I was keeping this one. I'm keeping the Magic Cream because I want to just go ahead and finish this up. And I did grab this just in case, you know, I kept this in the tray just in case I end up finishing my Milk Hydro Grip. So let's go over the other items here that I pulled from the tray. So I already told you how I was keeping the Milk Hydro Grip and the Match Master. I'm keeping this because, like I said, I think it's just one more use in here and then I'll be done with it. So the other mist setting spray that I pulled was this one from MAC. This is one of those miniatures that I need to go ahead and finish these up. I got a set of 3 a while ago, several months back. So I want to go ahead and finish these up as well. So pulled this one, and then the eye palette I pulled was this one here, the Cranberry palette from Natasha Denona. This is one that I love to wear around this time of year. It is gorgeous. If you want that deep, bold, maroon vibe, it's very sensual look in the eyes. Love this one, and the shimmers are in here are gorgeous. I have the palette I'm using today, which is the Zendo palette. So we pulled a Natasha Denona Zendo palette, and then I have the Juvia's The Warrior 2 palette. So we are going to utilize this week as well. This is an all matte palette. So we got these 3 palettes that we're going to focus on using this week. And then the bronzer I pulled, which you'll see me wearing this one, is the Clarity one. Clarity Cosmetics in 100 Degrees. And then we have the Natasha Denona. This is her Bloom Highlighting Blush palette. Oh, well, it's not palette, but you know, her blush. And then the other blush I pulled was another one of the Buttermilk blushes, but this one is in For the Butter. So, show you what that shade looks like. This has more of a pink shade to it. The highlighter palette I pulled was this Hourglass one here. This one has Absolute Strobe Light, Pure Strobe Light, and Lucent Strobe Light in it. And a couple of the lip products I pulled from the collection is this first one is this Persona. This is their lip gloss in Toffee. So this is Toffee from Persona. Then we got Sephora. This is one of the ones that was in that set from them. It's from the Sephora line. It's this deep red shade. It just says Rouge on it. And this Smashbox lipstick here in the shade Crush It. So we're going for some neutrals and some bold vampy looks this week. So that is the items that I pulled that is besides my staples. So now let's get to the look. So we started out with my Laneige sleeping mask on my lips. This is a step I like to do before I do my makeup to get my lips ready. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream Moisturizer. I'm putting all over my face just to get my face moisturized and ready for prep for the makeup. Then I went in with my Precisely My Brow. I love this eye pencil. This one is in the shade number 5. And I brush your hairs out first, but then I go in and I make little slight strokes throughout my whole brows, and then I kind of fill them in as I go. Feel, brush till I feel like I got them right. Not trying to make them look exact, just trying to make them look as close as possible. Now that we got that all good, now it's time to move on to the eyes. And this is the Marc Jacobs Undercover Primer. I've been trying to finish this primer. It's like the never-ending primer, which is telling me it is well worth the price. Don't know if they make this product anymore, but it does pretty good. The palette I'm using is the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. I'm using a Morphe 504 blending brush, and we're going to take that crease shade and put it throughout my crease, and we're going to blend it onto my outer V as well. So crease and windshield wiper motions and circular motions, and then also placing it on my outer V just to blend everything throughout. And we're going to do that, carry that on both sides of my eyes until I feel like I got the color where I want it. This is very buildable. Now we're taking that darker brown shade and putting that with the smaller Morphe taper brush on top of that shadow, just in my outer V and slightly into my crease on both of the sides. And like I said, I'm deepening that shade up as well to get it where I would like it to be. And then I'm just taking my blender brush I used before and just using that to swipe all over to make sure it looks good. Now we're taking this shimmer here, placing it on my lid, on my inners, and all the way on top of my lid, and just swiping it up with my fingers. And we're going to do that on both sides. And I concentrate my placement on the bottom part of my eye, and then when the product gets little on there, then I swipe it up. Again, we take our blender brush back again and just slightly go over that. Now we got our Milk Hydro Grip Primer to start on our base. And we just take a couple of pumps of that and just make sure that it gets evenly distributed all over. And you guys, we go in after that with our MAC Match Master Foundation in shade number 7.5. And I normally do the 2 to 3 pumps depending on what I think I need. And this is another Morphe foundation brush that I'm using. Don't use any concealer, just use that foundation to kind of go all under my eyes, and this will help clean up any of the shadows that kind of went too far down as well. We're using this Becca powder in Golden Hour all over. Especially right now, I focus it under my eyes, but I'm using this e.l.f. brush to take care of that. So focus it under the eyes, push the powder into the brush in the top, and I do my T-zone when I'm doing this part of it. And I just swirl it, swirl it, swirl it. And that's when I noticed this powder is a little drier and lighter, but it does the job. It still works. Now I'm just trying to make sure that everything looks good and to my liking. Now we're using that 100 Degrees bronzer from Clarity Cosmetics and using that Rougher 24 brush. And see how pigmented this bronzer is? I was like, whew, this is some powerful stuff. I only used one tap, a couple of taps, and I was able to do both sides with my face with that one tap. So this is a nice deep bronzer especially for my darker skin tone girlies. This is a good one. I had to blend, 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 blend. Then I'm taking that e.l.f. brush that I just used for those foundation, and I kind of swirled over it. Now we're taking that NYX blush, and it was pigmented as well. One tap, and it was powerful. Powerful. I just went ahead, see? So again, at this point, I took some more of my powder, and I'm doing like I normally do, which is taking it and swirling it around on my face. But I'm really concentrating it on my cheeks this time to kind of help tone and blend those two together into what I'm looking. And you guys, that bonnet on my head was just playing tricks on me this whole time. It kept sliding back. Now I'm taking a little bit more of that shimmer that we used earlier and putting it more on my inner corner area, trying to carry it down and around my eyes because I wanted to have more emphasis of that color there. Now we're moving on to this Hourglass highlighter palette, and I'm using that shade there to place on the top of my cheeks on both sides. Then I also carry this up and around a little bit to go under my eyebrows on both sides. I love to do that with my highlighters, kind of have it carry up and around. I place a little bit on the bridge of my nose there, but then I also take a small brush and I place more of that on top of the other shade we put in my inner corner. Now we're going in with the Sephora Eye Kohl pencil in Intensely Black. I'm going to place that on as my eyeliner on my bottom lash, on both sides of my eyes, And then I also will carry it to my top lash as an eyeliner, and I slightly wing it out. And I'm going in with my MAC Google Black mascara, and I put that on my bottom lashes. And then we're going to go in with my YSL volumizing mascara. That's the Lash Clash mascara. I love this. And I normally go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then I start pushing everything up eventually. This prevents the mascara from tapping my eyelids because my eyelashes naturally curl up. So I have to do this motion and then push up in order for it not to tap onto my eyelids and get mascara everywhere. So back and forth at first, and then push up. And I just make sure everything's evenly coated. And then we go away from my eyes and we go to our lips. So I remove that Laneige sleeping mask, and then I go in with this Smashbox liquid lipstick. This is a beautiful color. And this is a moisturizing liquid lipstick. It is not drying at all. Now it will transfer, but it doesn't do a lot of transferring. So pretty much it stays where it needs to go for majority of the day. Now we're finishing off with the Urban Decay Setting Mist. And that is the look, you guys. All right, you guys, so you saw the look. This is a close-up of everything once it's been put together. As you could tell, as I was putting together that look, that blush and that bronzer are very deep. So I went in with too heavy of a hand with both, but I was able to blend it out and, you know, swirl over it with my powder. And I don't think I mentioned my powder when I was telling you guys what I pulled, but I pulled this Becca one, and this is in Golden Hour. So that was the powder that I am wearing, but this is the look once it came together. I think the finished product looks pretty good, and I'm loving the look. So that's everything for this weekly Shop My Stash and Get Ready With Me. Please give me a big thumbs up. This is another part of my channel. I do beauty, fragrance, and lifestyle. So this is part of my beauty side of things. So make sure before you go, you drop down below what you think of the look. Do you have any of these items in your collection? If you do, why don't you pull them out and wear them through the week with me, you guys? We'll see what looks you come up with as well. And other than that, make sure you subscribe before you go, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.